But hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Chelsea Johnson. I am the Communications Manager for the Ontario First Nations Technical Services Corporation. And what we do is we provide technical advisory services to all 133 First Nations in Ontario. So this includes services like engineering, environment, housing inspections, infrastructure, operations and maintenance, basically anything that a public works department does. We help First Nations and support them in developing those areas. And part of the mission that we have as an organization is to help youth learn about these careers as well and gain interest, either help them with an education pathway, and just to generally promote careers in these areas. So that's done through our Technical Youth Career Outreach Program, or we also call it TYCOP for short. So we have Amy Waboose today. She's joining us from Whitefish River First Nation, and she's one of our mentors. So today is going to be kind of a group mentoring session. We have some questions that we were going to ask Amy, but also for those of you joining as well, at any point, feel free to ask a question as well. And I guess just to start us out today, I wanted to mention as well that this session is being recorded. We had a few people who weren't able to make it to this time, and they wanted to be able to watch the recording afterwards. So it's just going to be sent out to the people who weren't able to make it today. So did anybody want to either, if you're comfortable, unmuting or turning on your camera and saying where you're from and just letting us know where you're joining us from, we can do that. Or if you're a little bit more on the shy side, also just feel free to type it into the chat, either what community you're from or what brought you in today to be interested in this session. We got a hi, Amy.
No, if you're here, no.
Awesome. All right, so just to get us started out, the question we always ask Amy that kind of like gets us started in these mentorship programs is basically like why you wanted to become a water operator and what drew you to this career.
Well, to be honest, one of my buddies told me to sign up for it. He's like, it's going to be really good for you. I can tell. Well, before this, I worked with water. So I didn't know, I was through water first. So I didn't know it was going to be a career. I thought it was just going to be a 16-month paid job and had to figure it out after. But I got it through them and I just put my resume in and I did great on the interview and I got the job. And then from there, they built me up with the OIT and the WQA, and it was even more nicer because my reserve hired me on full time right after I was finished my program. So that's pretty well I got into it. I was kind of told to put my resume in, but it's a great job to get into. It keeps you busy and you'll feel good for making clean water for your community. Oh, I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Sorry. I was just saying, yeah, that's awesome. So it was kind of something that you maybe just stumbled into, but it's kind of become like, is it something you see now, like that you want to do forever, or what are your future plans like?
Definitely. I want to retire here. I'm 8, so I'm like so comfortable with the plant and even the people around, and my home's 30 seconds up the hill, and you know, my mom's over there, my kid goes to school here, so it's just like, why leave? My boat's right there, and you know, it's just to be honest, I'm planning on retiring here, and I'm 28 and I'm already thinking, so
that's pretty cool. Like it's basically something like people can look at as a long-term option.
Absolutely long-term. If you like routine and structure and you know what's going to happen next, and you know how to do all that, then you're in pretty well. It's all routine, there's nothing stuff that's going to pop up and freak you out unless it's like a broken valve or a leak. Other than that, it's mainly routine here.
Yeah. So what kind of, I guess, if you're in high school right now, what kind of classes do you have to take? Is there anything you need to start doing at a younger age to kind of get into this career?
Chemistry for sure. And you got to know your math. and like the long divisions and conversions and chemistry and how to balance it, and you got to know your periodic tables, some of the chemicals in there. And so mainly chemistry and math is what you got to really think of. Go for go for all the way through your grade 12s, and that's pretty well all you really need. Other than that, that's what I needed was chemistry and math. That's what I had a hard time with. So make sure you get to grade 12 because I only went to grade 11.
So even if you have a hard time though, like you could still take those classes like later on, like after kind of high school.
So like even throughout, say you go for your OIT, they'll reteach you almost, like kind of put it into your brain. So it's good to have it on your belt because I didn't. I only got to grade 11, but if you can, go all the way to grade 12. And then you have a better understanding of the converting and the math. And sometimes you really don't think you need it in the field, but you do. You'll end up using it every year now and then.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. So what does a typical day in your life look like? Like what's the day in the life of like a First Nations water operator from like the moment you wake up through to like when you come home at the end of the day?
The moment that I wake up, I got to get my son ready. Then I get to work, drop him off daycare, get to work. And then, like I said, it's routine. So I'll do my inside of the plant checks. So that's when I go check the high lifts, the high lifts, the UV, sand filters, my chlorine analyzers, and my chlorine day tanks. Then from there, I'll go check it in here. Then I'll go out of the plant and I'll go check out the water tower to make sure the chlorine's good there. And I'll go to the low lift station to make sure my pumps are working and they're working at maximum capacity. So it's basically doing that all day. And then depends. If it's a Tuesday, I have my sampling for Near North Labs. Thursday is my in-house back teas. Wednesday, Friday, and Monday are the easier days where it's just a normal daily lab, but I'm testing the water every day. So no matter what. So it's basically it. So like I said, it's all structure, unless I got a broken valve or a leak.
Yeah, speaking of that, what does happen if something like that goes wrong? Like what if one of your the samples off balance or something? Like what happens then?
So adverse under 0.2 for the First Nations, that'd be adverse. The whole reservoir gets shut down. So all my water would have to be replaced, redone. Got to drain the water right out of the tower and refill it. It takes days to refill it. We had a leak before at the water tower and we had to take it out and put it on pressure mode, it's called, here from the plant. So it just keeps the pressure instead of getting from the water. So we just have to shut it down because we don't want anybody to get sick, right? Because that's me getting in trouble. And not even that, it's just, I don't want that for my community at all. So we would shut the whole thing down.
Oh yeah, that sounds like kind of like it could be a little stressful. Like how do you find that you deal with like the stress of that? Like is there a lot of pressure on you or what do you
pressure for sure. Like it's unfortunate that they'll only remember the 1% you messed up and not the 99% when the water's fine. That's the shitty. Oh, that's the bad part here. So it's like you won't remember when the water's been fine for all these times. They'll only remember when we mess up. So that's the part that bugs me. But other than that, if you have good coworkers and you have good communication and your boss is great, it'll go by breeze with an emergency if you have these. Plus, we have an emergency response plan. Like you have all this stuff ready just in case, like God forbid something happens, but we got a book to go to it and know where to call and who to call. And, you have all these things set up already for you. So you're not panicking.
Yeah, so it's basically like there's like a plan in place for things that go wrong. You can refer
to our book that we already said. Okay, so what if this happens? And what if this happens? Who do we call? Who do we, and the UCCMM helps with that with the 7 reserves around here too.
Yeah.
So they were getting that ready for us. And then we just have to put our own names in it. So, okay, so Amy has to do this for the water quality. And Andy has to call the chief to make sure something happens and this is done. And so it has all these different steps on how to do it.
What is the structure like in the actual plan itself? Like is there a kind of like maybe hierarchy is not the right word, but like what is the organizational structure? Like is there somebody who's like a supervisor and then you?
Yeah, just got a new boss named Richard. So he's the supervisor, and then I have my overall operator, and then there's me. So yeah, there's 3 of us in the plant now. There only used to be 2, but there's 3 of us now.
is that standard, or what is the typical number of people to run the plant?
That's about standard. I would think a lot of places don't have the luxury of two. Some of them only have one and they're stuck. They can't have holidays. They have to be close to home because you're always on call 24/7. So it's like, we're thankful that we have there's three of us, so we can have these extra time, because a lot of plants don't have that. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
So the more the merrier, really.
So can it go up to, like, how many people could you guys potentially have working at that treatment plant? Like, do you guys need more water operators there right now?
No, I think we're content now, but before it was some, like in the city, it'd be distribution. There'd be distribution ones, there'd be water treatment plant ones, there'd be wastewater, there could be other difference, but here we just do treated water.
Okay.
So.
Does anyone have any questions for Amy so far before we ask a few more questions? Just raise up your hand, or even go ahead and type it into the chat. Let me check the chat here.
Oh, I think Stephen has a question.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Hi, Amy. How do you do with your record keeping?
We do it daily. We have a daily log. So literally everything we do, we got to write it down. From going to a dump run to changing the probe for the pH. It's basically to save our asses over anything. Yeah. So we don't get in trouble. You have that paper trail. So we don't have.
Yeah, due diligence.
Yes, that's the word. Great word. Yes.
Yeah. I've seen too many. No, I haven't met Chelsea before. I worked for OFN TSC for a couple of times. I'm actually working up in Gull Bay now at their new water plant.
Oh, nice.
I've been doing this for 43 years now, so it's good to see. I've seen too many of First Nations not keeping very good records.
No, not at all.
You'll see one little line on a page.
Yeah, so they don't even write in my daily lab and the checks in the plant. Like, every little thing I'm writing because I don't want to get in trouble, and I want
Beautiful, yeah.
I want to go back.
Always covered.
Doing this that day, and this didn't happen, and so I need that paper trail. It was really pushed around here. Out of every plant it should be, but here it's like.
That's good though, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. We got a couple of other questions here. Can you go over maybe some of the pathways, I guess? You had mentioned Water First, that you took their training to become a water operator. Is there another pathway, or what can people look into if they want to do this?
So here, actually, we're looking for an OIT before, and nobody wants to really do it. And I seen OF and TFC has the OIT opportunity. So basically is when you see these opportunities, you kind of got to jump for them, because they're going to give you that extra help, and they're going to give you that tutor, and they're going to get you all into this, right? And then if people ask me, I'm like, just start with your OIT first, make sure you pass that. I've got books for you, and go from there. And once you get your OIT, I'm pretty sure any plant will be willing to train you for those, I forget how many hours you need to get your level 1. But it's basically just start from your OIT. I got books. People got books. They're willing to help. I know every plant needs extra help, so they love an OIT. Yes,
just as Amy mentioned, we do have an operator in training posting right now up on our website. So if anyone on this call is interested in learning more, definitely reach out to us or Amy, and we can kind of help you out for next steps to kind of pursue this career.
Is that through their hub service?
I think it might be, it's either hub or our CRTP, our Circuit Rider Training Program. I'm not sure which one exactly.
Yeah, they have both good programs, both the Circuit Rider and the hub service. Are really good.
Circuit Riders come here all the time too for us for our CUs and our OJT hours. So
who do you get?
Normally Jerry's here, who's from the reserve. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just easy for him. Plus we know him too, right? So.
Right on.
Yeah.
In terms of, I guess we were talking about a bit earlier about just the record keeping. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure. Is there a certain, I guess, mindset you think you have to have, a good mindset to kind of work in this field? Or what would you say if people are wondering, am I the right fit,
Oh, yeah. Well, the mindset, to be honest, is just be positive if something happens. And you got to be able to work with people. You got to be able to, because you'll get a lot of those that their water tastes funny or their water is this, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you got to be able to go to their houses and test it and make sure, just to reassure them, because I don't blame them. All the boil water advisories way up north, right? So I know the water here is pristine, but I just want to keep them comfortable too, right? Just to let them know like everything's fine, everything's good. So it's mainly like you just got to be able to put up with the pressure when it gets tight like that. So I'm pretty sure anybody can handle it because I came in nervous as hell too, right? So it's you got to put your first foot in the door and then you'll be fine, you know? And then you got, like I said, you got to have good coworkers to talk and help you out when you need stuff. And so it's mainly, I think it's fit for everybody that's just willing to learn. You got to be able to take the constructive criticism and you got to be able to learn new things. You learn something new every day around here.
It's probably like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, it's like probably like when you're learning how to drive a car, it's like really scary at first because you don't know what to do. But then after you learn, like after you get the knowledge, you get the experience, then it kind of gets to just be second nature. And
then you get more confident. And then look at me now, like I wouldn't be talking on this, you know, when I first started. That's what I mean. It's when you get comfortable and you're used to it and you know how to answer the questions and like I said, the constructive criticism, there's a lot of people that can't take it without getting mad, right? So it's like, you got to be willing to learn and keep learning because you're always learning in this job.
Yeah.
Always.
Beautiful. And then I guess my last question that I have, and we can open it up to the floor after this too, is like what makes your job worthwhile?
Just knowing that my community has clean water and they don't have to worry. You know, my kid can take a bath and not get bumps, and all the kids around here can drink the water all they want. You know, we have trucking to do the water home cisterns, and they don't have to worry because we go sample it all the time. You know, like it's what I take pride in is the clean water that my community can get. You know, and they don't have to double think about what's coming out of that tap. It doesn't look brown. You know, it's aesthetically pleasing. It's tastes good. You know, I wouldn't want to go home and my tap water tastes funny or look funny. So it's like, so yeah, that's pretty well it.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Amy. Those are pretty much all the questions I have, but I do want to open it up to the floor. Anybody, if you feel like unmuting yourself and asking Amy a question, or if you want to put something in the chat, definitely this is your chance now. And if you're not comfortable asking a question in this forum, then we can also, if you want to send us an email, we can connect you with Amy and she can kind of help you help answer any questions that you might have offline as well. So did anyone have any questions? Is anyone interested? Maybe could I get well, just before we go to you, Stephen, could I get anybody to raise their hand up if they are looking into becoming a water operator? Just there's a little reaction button at the bottom of your screen. You can add a little hand like that if you want to let us know if you're thinking about this career.
It's a great career to get into, guys.
Well, think about it. Hopefully after this, you'll be a little bit more interested. Stephen, you had another comment or question?
Well, just a quick one. I mean, this career can take you anywhere in North America. With your license, you can go work down in Mexico, United States. There is jobs everywhere for this business.
You can go work in the mines. You can be underground working for down there for them.
Hotels, everywhere. There's anywhere there's water, basically. Yeah.
It's a provincial ticket. Yeah. So you can work anywhere.
Yeah. Now, how's your, with you having 3 operators, how's your training opportunities?
Well, to be honest, we haven't had any since the COVID lifted, but the training opportunities will be a lot easier to go to instead of one staying home. You know what I mean? Like we can all go. Yeah. So actually, Kelsey was just talking about the next one coming with OF and TFC. So I think I want to sign up for that. And it's just the training is, you know, repetitive, but you still got to know it. So.
Yeah, I found that OFN, TSC, or a whale was 2 of the best places to get training.
And Walkerton. Walkerton's a good one too. I like them too. Yeah.
Even Cal State University. I mean, a lot of CEUs for a very price.
Oh. I think I'm not sure, Tanis, if you had your hand up or if that was a bit of a delayed internet.
I was just wondering, Amy, what kind of chemicals do you work with at the water place where you work?
The chemical we work with right here is sodium hypochlorite 12%. So that's just our disinfection. We don't really have any other deadly. Well, we have our ozone, but it's mainly our sodium hypochlorite. That's the only chemical that we use for us. It's 12%. So it'll burn your skin and burn your nose, and it'll bleach your clothes. So
You do that to your pants, to your jeans, and you can sell them for a lot of money.
yeah, there you go. As long as you have your safety equipment on. Wait, miss.
So is that, you mentioned that one chemical. So does your filter in your water treatment plant, is that one of those sand filters? I know that there's some things like that.
Yeah, so it's a sand filter. It goes through our roughing filter, it goes through the sand filter, and then the GAC. So the way I like to explain it to people, it's like a natural filter like Mother Earth. It's like it goes from the sand to coarser sand to gravel to bigger, and it just filters through like naturally. And it takes a while to do it, but it's more meant for a smaller community. So you wouldn't see that in Toronto or anything. You would see the other faster conventional plants, but not around here. So we have sand filter here, and that's the only way I can really explain it. Is like it's like Mother Earth naturally filters it. And
then what does that chemical do that you mentioned?
That's a disinfection, the sodium hypochlorite. So that goes in at the end. So that's going to take away your bacteria, your protozoa, and your viruses. That's what's going to kill that. The one that it goes through the slow sand filter takes out everything else from the surface water. But the disinfection goes in right at last.
I remember you mentioning before on another call that we had that you guys have really clean source water as well. So does that help out with
the source water protection? So before I was here, I was on that. So it's easier to clean to treat your surface water if you have a source water protection plan than to not. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to clean if your source water is clean. So it's easier to treat. So we had that plan. We have a 25-year plan of how to keep our water or lake clean. So, and we just make awareness to the community, pick up your garbage. Don't use tie rods, like the old railway tie rods, your gas, just little things like that all add up. So we had that awareness a couple of years ago, but I haven't really seen it implemented in a couple of years. So
we have a question actually in the chat from Cam Edgar. This is a good question, Cam. No, we haven't asked this one yet, but does a candidate need to have their Ontario grade 12 to enter your career?
Yeah.
Yes, you got to have your OSSSD or your GED, but it's better to have your OSSSD for sure. You got to have that, and then, well, I guess your driver's license is an asset too.
Nice. Gaga, did you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. So how long, Amy, does it take to be fully certified to do what you do?
I just got my level 1 in June. This past June, I finally passed it after all these years. But I was in an OIT for 3 years, and then I got my level 1. So it didn't take long. Well, if you're smart, it took me a long time to get my level 1. I didn't give up though, but I got it. And then, I was OIT for about 3 years because after 3 years it expires. So you have to get your level 1. So it's going to take, as an OIT, you have to be in the plant for at least a year before you get your level 1 certificate.
Yeah.
So it could take you less. It wouldn't take as long as it took me, that's for sure.
Okay. So, but while you're getting your education, you can still get a job and be getting paid while you're still working to get the next level.
Yes. So you'll still be getting paid as an OIT, working your way up to your level 1. Yes, because that's how I was. Yeah.
That's good. That's really good, actually, that you can kind of still be in training, but you can still be working. Because that's kind of one of the best ways to learn, right? Is like through getting the training hands-on.
Because I'm a hands-on worker. So it was tough for me to pass the level 1. But like I said, I'm hands-on. So when I'm sitting in a classroom having to be quiet and do all these tests, it was tough for me. But people would whiz through it too, right? So you got to know the way you work.
Yeah.
The way you learn. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, is there any other questions for Amy before we wrap up? Yeah, go ahead.
I heard you mention ozone earlier. Do you have that prior or before your filters? Or do you have anything else besides?
We dose our raw water with ozone right off the hop because it takes the taste and color out right away. So that gets hit with it first. Then it goes through our sand filter, our roughing filter, our GAC. Then it comes out, gets zapped with our UV, and then I'll get with our disinfection.
Oh, sounds like my plant.
Yeah. So yeah, it's exactly how it is. And then it goes into our clear well and straight to the water tower.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, Amy. Thanks for joining us again today. And to everyone who also took the time to join, thanks for coming. Like I said, this session's being recorded, so we will be, we can share it with you if you want to take another look, but we're also going to share it with a couple people who were not able to make it today. So thanks again. And if you ever have any questions for Amy, if you have any questions about how to get into these kinds of careers, just send us a message and we'll be happy to help you.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks so much, everybody. And I hope you all have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Take
See you
care.
later.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.